This is Rich Winter, a blogger for the Dakota Sports Blast, and on the horn with me this evening is Alan Bertram, one of the directors here of Sacred Hoops Basketball. We've got a feature that we're going to be starting every week, and it's called What It Takes Wednesday. And Coach Bertram, you're here to lend some insight and tell us a little bit about Lincoln Jordry from Sully Buttes and what it took to get him to college at Northern State.
Well, I just think, first of all, a lot of young people don't realize how much time and effort and dedication it takes to be able to be a high-level basketball player, and more importantly, a kid that, ended up getting a full-ride scholarship to go play at the Division II level. Lincoln is obviously, 6'9", 6'10", big kid that led his team to the state championship this year. But more importantly, Lincoln's a kid that probably in the last 3 years has improved more than any player in the entire state of South Dakota. He is a relentless worker. We're talking 5 nights a week in the gym, putting up tons of shots, working on post moves. And the biggest thing that he did was really start to work on his weaknesses. He did what all athletes should do. He identified what areas he needed to improve in the most, which for him was his foot speed, his foot quickness, his verticality, his explosion, and then really being able to develop the opportunity to score outside of 5 foot. If anybody's seen him in the state championship game this year, Rich, he hit 3 or 4 huge 15 to 17-foot jump shots at the high post, which is something he's been focusing on heavily in the last year and a half.
All right, so Coach, we see this big guy up at Sully Buttes, 6'9", 6'10", rebounds with the best of them, throws down a couple dunks and sets. But you met him the summer between his sophomore and junior year, and he wasn't always the rugged dude that we see now, was he?
Really, I actually met him between his 8th grade and 9th grade years.
Okay.
And he was a kid that was still just trying to find his feet. He wasn't super coordinated. He was still kind of gangly, had a hard time finishing. To be honest with you, he was really soft.
Yeah.
He played soft. He just wasn't physical. He didn't want any physicality. And so he played much smaller than what he really was. I remember talking to him when we first started working with him. At that time, he was probably 6'5", 6'6", but I told him you might as well be 5'6" the way you play. And so, one of the things we really had to focus on was him getting tougher mentally, tougher physically, and him getting that mentality that nobody on the floor, no matter who I'm playing against, is going to stop me. And I remember 2 years ago, there was everyone has those shining moments, Rich, 2 years ago, we were sitting in Kansas City, Missouri, playing, in a national regional tournament that was loaded with talent. And Lincoln was playing on our national team and catches the ball on the left block. We'll never forget it. He's 10 foot from the basket, left block, and he puts a spin move on this 6'9" kid from Kansas City, and rises up and two-hand flushes that thing. And it was something at that time that Lincoln himself didn't even realize that he did it until after he'd done it. And he kind of looked at us, and everybody kind of looked at him. And from that moment on, it was like a light bulb turned on that I can do this against anybody whenever I want.
Coach, you talk about toughening him up a little bit and gaining that mentality of attacking the rim every time. How did you, as a trainer and somebody that worked with Lincoln, accomplish that? What kind of drills and stuff did you do to toughen the kid up?
Well, one of the things we put a simple rule in practice with him. It was called the all dunk rule. And we told him in practice that we didn't care where he was at. If he was 12 foot from the basket, then he got one dribble and he was going to go dunk on somebody. I didn't care if he missed it every time, but my whole premise was you are a dominant player when you play big. And so he would have consequences. If the kid could get a ball and he would make a great finish at the rim but didn't dunk it or didn't try to dunk it, he was on the sideline running sprints until he figured it out. And so it got to a point in practice where we told him, you are dunking everything on every play, or at least attempting to do it, because I wanted him in games. I didn't care who was guarding him. I wanted him going through people. I wanted him to have that mentality.
Coach, tell me about the improvement. You talk about him that no other player in South Dakota has improved quite like he has for the last 3 years. What did you see from the outside that led you to believe that he was really, really working not only on his body but also his game?
Well, as a sophomore at Sully Buttes, Sully Buttes is a very good program, but as a sophomore in Class B basketball, at 6'6", 6'7" at that time, he's not even playing varsity basketball.
Oh.
Now, most kids that size in Class B are sniffing the floor a little bit. He didn't even play. So uh, he went from that to his junior year. So we're talking a 6'7" kid not even playing a second of ball on a Class B team that didn't go to the state tournament.
Wow.
So the following year was really that summer. Holy cow. That's when that whole light bulb turned on. He goes out and averages 15, 16 points a game. So he goes from not playing at all to averaging 16 a game and leading Soy Buttes to a state tournament and getting third place.
Sure.
Following year now, leads it up, 20 points, state championship. So he goes in 2 years from not playing. And I'll take that a step further even. His junior year, Rich, we're talking not playing at all in his junior year, putting down like 28 dunks during the season, his junior season.
Nice.
So it was a complete attribute to his mental toughness, his level of confidence, which we talk about all the time. That's the most important thing you can have as a player. You've got to have confidence. He started to believe in himself. And I think a lot of that had to do with what happened in the summer. He was playing against some of the best players in the country,
Sure.
and he was having success. So I think it allowed him to come back and say, hey, if I can do that against dudes that are getting D1 scholarships, I should be able to go back to Soy Buttes and do it on people from wherever in South Dakota.
So, Coach,
So I think that was the biggest thing.
So, Coach, you see this young man now. He's headed off to Northern State University, who had a fantastic run in the Division II tournament. How certain are you that he's going to be successful at that level?
You know, and Lincoln would tell you, he probably got his butt chewed by me more than any kid in the history of me coaching. And he probably has nightmares at night, just waking up to my voice. But he is where he's at today because of his work ethic, his dedication, his passion. And he's a kid that will go up to college when he's surrounded by all these other players who have the same dedication and love for the game. He's going to thrive. You're going to see that the first year Lincoln will put 15 pounds of muscle on. He'll get bigger. He'll become even more athletic because of the type of weight he'll put on. He's already, I call him an elbow at the rim guy. I mean, that's, when he dunks, it seems like he's putting his elbows to the rim. And he's just going to get more explosive. And Coach Sather up there, as always, he's got a great reputation of developing great big men. So Lincoln, sky's the limit, man. I mean, he's going to have a great career at Northern. They just got second in the nation in Division II basketball. So he's going to play for a great program that will just continue to develop. And I'm so proud of this kid, Rich. I work with a lot of kids, and I'm as